The purple Shinigami is here. A man burst in an open clearing where a group of people were partying. When they heard what he said, they dropped their bottles of booze on the ground and ran like hell was chasing them. Just then, an explosion occurred inside the forest, and they stopped running. It was as though their bodies wouldn't obey them, no matter how hard they tried to move. Out of the smoke, a young man with purple eyes and purple hair made his appearance. His lips were curled up in a devilish smile, and his eyes glanced at the group who were frozen in fear. "You really thought that you could run away from me," Case said in an amused manner before he picked up the man who had called him the purple Shinigami. He grabbed hold of his neck before snapping it in a clean motion. A few people screamed, but none of them could move. Kai threw the lifeless body on the ground and looked at them with another smile. And let's rewind back to see what happened. After completely examining himself, Kai decided to find a city so that he could gain information about the planet he was on. Unfortunately, without his spiritual sense, Kai couldn't check his surroundings to see where the nearest city was. After a long thinking, Kai decided to head towards the west direction as he was on the western continent. Don't question his logic for thinking up something like this, as this was the best idea he had. He encounters a few spiritual beasts in the way, but he simply killed them with a snap of his finger. His body was not full of spiritual energy, and he had tremendous power inside him. He could now kill weak cultivators easily, since compared to before, he had the spiritual energy to use his techniques. As he was deep in his thoughts, he didn't notice the rustling of bushes, and 10 people jumped out of them and surrounded Kai. "Well, what do we have here?" A handsome young man roaming around the forest alone. "Judging from your clothes, you aren't from around here," a man said with an annoying smile on his face. "I'm not sensing any spiritual energy from him. Go grab him and we will sell him as a slave to a noble family," the man said to his comrades, and they took out various weapons. Even an idiot could tell that these guys are bandits, and judging by this man's orders, he was their leader. "Maybe I shall head towards the north direction," Kai muttered to himself. He started walking towards the north. "Hey, did you?" The leader started speaking, but his mouth automatically closed. Kai then made a circular gestures with his hands, and their neck rotated with his finger. They came to rest in 90 degrees position, and their bodies dropped on the ground. This happened to everyone except the leader, who was so shocked by this that he wanted to scream. His mouth won't open. Kai then snapped his fingers, and the lifeless bodies turned to dust. that was blown away by wind. Kai started walking in the north direction as though nothing had happened. After Kai walked away, the leader could finally speak, but he didn't speak. Anything as he didn't have any words to describe what he just saw. He ran away as that was the only thing he could do. The reason Kai left him alive was so that he could tell the others about Kai, and they would fear him and wouldn't bother him. Unfortunately, his little plan would fail. The leader did run to the nearest group of bandits he could find and told them about the purple-eyed Shinigami he saw. They didn't believe him and laughed at him. Later on, their two decided to attack Kai, but there too suffered the same fate. As the man's group, everyone was killed except for the leader, who decided to share this information with other bandits. No, every single bandit in the forest knew about Kai, and the leaders called for an emergency meeting to decide what to do. We should just avoid him and he would automatically leave the forest. One of the leaders suggested and most of them agreed with him, but that's when a stupid greedy bastard decided to say something. From his description, I think he is from a powerful influence, meaning that he will be carrying various treasures with him. If all of us combine our strength and try to kill him, we can get our hands on those treasures. The greedy dude said to the others, entered a trance-like state, and they would thought about what they will do with the treasure if they successfully obtained it. All of them agreed to only take their most strongest cultivators with them, and they started searching the forest for Kai. And they found him pretty quickly as he was roaming around in circles. Kai might have been one of the most strongest cultivators to even exist, but he was very bad at navigating. He will never keep the directions same and would thus end up roaming in circles. But when he saw the large amount of bandits coming at him, he face-palmed. "I'll let you both live, so that you could tell them about me, and all of you would remain away from me," he said in a disappointed voice, as he looked at the two bandits leaders he left alive. "You really think you can defeat us all?" Another leader laughed and Kai looked at him with a devilish grin. "It's not that I think I can kill you," he said with a laugh and clenched his fist. The man who had just spoken started screaming as blood started to come out of his eyes, nose and ears. His body exploded after minutes. His internal organs and a lot of blood splashed on the nearest group of persons. The others didn't notice, but a man quickly slipped away from the group. Kai noticed that and smiled inwardly. "I got a person to catch," Kai said and hit the ground with his fist. An explosion occurred and the ground cracked, swallowing everyone standing above it. Back to the present. "Let's give you a nice, slow, torturous death." Kai snapped his fingers, and everyone there fell asleep. He had trapped them inside a nightmare where they were being killed by more than 1,000 different ways of torture. All of them were experiencing this except for one person. The one who ran away to warn the bandits stood rooted to a spot, guy walked towards him with a devilish grin and touched his forehead with his fingers. The man's eyes lit up and he screamed as Guy burned him alive. He let the others experience this for a while before killing them too. After cleaning it up, Guy started heading towards the west direction, as he had stolen the memories of the people he had killed. Now he knew all the important things about this world, and surely some of them were quite helpful.